What's up, everybody? I'm Flash. This is One Man's Opinion, the show where we cover just about everything, and today we're back at it with the epic rap battles of history. We are going way back to the very first ERB with this one, John Lennon versus Bill O'Reilly. I've always wondered what made them want to go with this duo at the time. I wonder why. There's, with the endless world of possibilities out in front of you, why John Lennon and Bill O'Reilly? I don't know. If any of you know the answer to that question, I'd love to hear it down in the comments below. But we're not wasting any time with this one. Keep in mind, this is one of the first ones. So there are some real hidden gems in these first ones, and I think they're often overlooked now because we're kind of spoiled when we do get a new one now because it's kind of like an event, right? I mean, the rhyme schemes, the punches, everything has gotten so much more complex from these early days. But every now and again, while I don't know if they always live up to their potential, you still find really good punches and stuff like that thrown out in these early ones. So we're gonna look back at this. I always think in my head when I think about the old ones, I always think like, okay, these aren't very good. But then when I rewatch them, I always find something new to kind of re-love about them. And so I'll be really interested to see if this is not good, kind of the way I remember it being, or if it's better than I remember it being.
Epic rap battles of history. John Lennon versus Bill O'Reilly.
Right out the gate, that old intro, man. Epic rap battles of history. You know, it kind of gets progressively more outrageous as it goes. And now I think they've said epic rap battles of history just about every way you can imagine. But it's really cool right there with that dramatic intro. Here we go.
Begin.
Hell, you're making my ears bleed. You need a muzzle.
Okay.
Why you pissed off all the time? Didn't your mom give you a cuddle?
All right, so he says help. That's a reference to, obviously, the Beatles hit Help. Okay, so easy one right there, right out the gate, coming out with help. You're making my ears bleed. You need a muzzle.
You need a muzzle. Why you pissed off all the time? Didn't your mom give you a cuddle?
All right, there's a pretty decent punch there, you know. Bill O'Reilly's kind of wound a little tight, you know. So, he's just telling the dude to relax, chill out a little bit.
You're the type of guy who could die of a heart attack just in the shower. You need to chill out for a minute and smoke weed for an hour. Every time I watch your show, all you do is scream at me, and your face looks like a shit I took high on LSD. I'm just...
Jeez, that doesn't sound pleasant. I have no idea what that's like, but I can't imagine that that's a good thing. I mean, that's pretty funny. Like, there's nothing intricate here. There's not really anything to break down. It's all very self-explanatory. But it's still funny.
You need to chill out for a minute and smoke weed for an hour. Every time I watch your show, all you do is scream at me, and your face looks like a shit I took high on LSD. I'm John Lennon, I'm a legend, I can see through all your tricks. I wonder how much George Bush paid you to suck his dick.
Woo! Yeah, no, that's a good finish right there. That's a good finish. Bill O'Reilly loved George Bush. Loved to talk up some Bush back in the day. That's a good finish right there. I wonder how much George Bush paid you. Okay, all right. We got a little punch. We got a little battle going here. They need to chill on the up close camera angle of just Nice Peter's mouth, though. Like, not even his whole head is in frame so often. Look, just like so often during this, it's just an extreme close-up of Nice Peter with that fake mustache and those linen round glasses, man. Okay. All right, here we go.
Living in your yellow submarine, we about to get sunk by the right-wing political machine.
Yellow Submarine, another reference to a Beatles classic there. Right-wing political machine. Again, not much to break down here, not much to talk about. Let's keep
political
moving.
Machine. Stop your presses, Lennon. You call me Mr. Bill O'Reilly. When it comes to squash and limeys, I come recommended highly.
Oh, okay. Hold up. One more time.
Bill O'Reilly. When it comes to...
Hang on. Back it up.
Wing political machine. Stop your presses, Lennon.
All right, stop your presses, Lennon. So that's like a reference to like old school kind of news journalism, right? Especially back in like the newspaper days. If they were like printing off a paper and then like a big story hit, they may stop the presses to print a new page because this is the new headliner. All right, we're running this story now, so stop the presses. And then it's also like a double entendre because if you'll notice, he says stop your presses. I don't know if you can see that. My little picture may be in the way here, but it says stop your presses, Lennon. So the double entendre is stop the presses. So I've got something to say, but also stop your presses. Stop pressing on me. And then here comes Bill O'Reilly on the attack.
You call me Mr. Bill O'Reilly.
I just noticed that, and I know you can't see this, but in this bottom left corner, it doesn't say Fox News. It says not news. Stupid.
When it comes to squash and limeys, I can recommend it highly.
And then he says when it comes to squash and limeys, limeys is a derogatory term for Brits. Okay? It's so funny. Like, everyone used to have a derogatory term. There was no one in the world, no group of people, no race who didn't have a derogatory term. But he says, yeah, when I come to squash and limeys, I come recommended highly.
You're weak. Between you and me, there's no comparison. I'll beat you so bad you weep gently like George Harrison.
Okay.
You're Paul McCartney's bitch with his talent than Ringo. And I'd rather suck George Bush's dick than Yoko Ono's.
There's a funny thing happening. This is the first time I've ever listened to this with headphones. Obviously, I listened to it a long time ago. But there's this funny echo that I never knew that was there. And now that I'm listening to it, I can hear, like, between you and me, there's no comparison. And then behind it, it's comparison. There's just this weird echo back there I've never noticed before. Anyway.
Squash and limeys, I can recommend it highly. You're weak. Between you and me, there's no comparison. I'll beat you so bad you weep gently like George Harrison.
The name of that song is My Guitar Weeps Gently, I believe is the name of that song. Something like that. George Harrison did that song with Ringo, I believe.
You're Paul McCartney's bitch with his talent than Ringo. And I'd rather suck George Bush's dick than Yoko Ono.
I ain't gonna lie. Bill O'Reilly kind of went off right there. Like, I didn't give it the attention it deserved on the first time through because I was so distracted by that echo I'd never heard before. But honestly, this whole scheme right here at the end, where he's just going through all the Beatles, I'll beat you so bad you'll weep gently like George Harrison. You know, the beef between him and Paul McCartney getting brought up right there, less talent than Ringo. And then the rebuttal at the end, George Bush's, then Yoko Ono's. Yoko Ono highly credited for breaking up or at least expediting the breakup of the Beatles and really causing a rift between Lennon and McCartney. So, like, that's a really, really strong finish there for Bill O'Reilly. And Bill O'Reilly definitely took round one right there. I think Lennon's best shot came at the very end of his verse with that George Bush bar. But on top of the scheme that Bill O'Reilly put together with the rebuttal right there, I think O'Reilly takes round one.
Just dick than Yoko Ono. Well, you can't buy me love, but I'll kick your ass for free. I'll take Maxwell's silver hammer and give you a lobotomy.
Okay, You Can't Buy Me Love is another Beatles hit, and then Maxwell's Silver Hammer is like a really obscure, I don't think most people know about Maxwell's Silver Hammer. It's an obscure Beatles song, and it's a strange one, too. If you ever have the time, give Maxwell's Silver Hammer a listen, because it's about a serial killer, but it's, like, really up-tempo and happy. Like, it sounds like when you start the song, it sounds and feels like a bubbly love song, like a really happy-go-lucky kind of love song. But it just continues with that same kind of bubbly, happy energy all the way throughout as you listen to this story about this guy named Maxwell who's just murdering women with a silver hammer. And so, like, it's kind of a crazy song. And I really like that they kind of, snuck that in here somewhere.
Buy me love, but I'll kick your ass for free. I'll take Maxwell's silver hammer and give you a lobotomy. I'm tired of how you scheme to stir the people up. Why don't you just take a vacation and shut the up? 'Cause I'm
more up close and personal looks at that fake mustache for Nice Peter here. That looks really, really good. Not much to really mind from that. Outside of the song references, John Lennon's just not really doing much. He's getting his references in, but his punches just aren't really landing. He's basically just like, hey man, why don't you calm down? Why don't you stop stirring people up? Stop talking, like all this other stuff. Like, it's just kind of the same thing. It's pretty repetitious.
'Cause I'm evil, hard black, and then Don Cheadle, $10,000.
That bar always kind of like weirded me out. Like, why did Don Cheadle get brought into this? Was that just like the blackest person they could think of? They were like, Heart Blacker, who's really, really black? I like in the writing room, who's a black guy that's just really black? Well, Don Cheadle's pretty dark. Heart Blacker, then Don Cheadle. That also rhymes with Beetle. That's a win-win right there. Like, I would love to have been a fly on the wall for that conversation.
Cheadle. $10,000 shoes I used to stomp out a beetle. Don't tell me.
And like that's not like a great like that's not a bar that's gonna like blow your pants off or anything crazy. Like you're not gonna go crazy when you hear $10,000 shoes I used to stomp out a beetle. But that's pretty hard, and it's so much better than anything really Lennon has said. I mean O'Reilly's got this in the bag.
Shoes I used to stomp out a beetle.
That's a flex
Shut
too.
The fuck up. That's how I survive. Now here's Sting. What? F it. We'll do it live.
Everyone knows about that like infamous complete tirade that Bill O'Reilly went on during that episode of the Bill O'Reilly Show. Okay, so yeah, Bill O'Reilly took it. I mean, I think a pretty easy win there for him. Not a matchup I think I would want to see again. Some of those first season matchups, I would watch them do those again. Like Gandalf and Dumbledore, I think was the last season one that we did. Yeah, I would watch that again if they did that one over. This one I don't think needs a redo. Bill O'Reilly stomped out a beetle, and that was pretty much the end of the story right there. I think I got all the references in this one, but if I missed any, let me know in the comments below what you guys thought. I kind of feel like it's an underrated battle, though, because, like, Bill O'Reilly really was, like, throwing down the gauntlet there. Like, he really said some pretty good stuff. He really had a good rebuttal, and, like, yeah, it's raw. It's really raw, but like there's the building block and foundation for something really good there. So I kind of think the first ones are underrated. They get slept on a little bit. Let me know, give me a little conversation, a little back and forth. How do you guys feel about the first season of Epic Rap Battles? Is it overrated? Is it underrated? Because I look at them like really fondly. Like I'll go back and watch them and be like, man, you could see that there was genius here. Like no, it's really raw. It's really raw and hasn't found its footing yet. But you can see that there was an idea here that was just ripe for the picking. Like especially in those early YouTube, early internet days. Like honestly, there was so much genius behind it. And even though by comparison, the bars and like the rapping skills and all that stuff isn't quite there yet, like it's still those building blocks, that foundation, and you could tell like they were on to something here. So like I don't know, let me know what you guys think about those early seasons. Would you rather me not do them, or do you guys enjoy taking that trip down memory lane also? Let me know in the comments below. I've held you up long enough. Thank you guys for dropping by. I'll see you on the next one. This has been One Man's Opinion. Thanks.